Let's see how many pie. Apple.
Cherry.
Pecan.
Coconut cream. Coconut cream.
Lemon meringue.
Carrot cake. Oh, that's a
Carrot.
that's
Carrot
a cake.
cake.
Carrot's a cake.
Carrot is a cake.
But you could probably make a carrot pie.
You can make a pie out of anything with it has got pie crust.
If you blend it. Oh, you mean the crust is what makes the pie? I thought the way that it's.
I mean,
I don't have it.
Wasn't there a nursery rhyme? There's like a pie full of crows.
Pudding pie. Did we say that?
Pudding
Blackbird pie.
Blackbird pie, yeah.
Blackbird pie.
20 something blackbirds baked in a pie.
Yep.
That sounds dark. Is that like one of
It
those
is
weird
super dark.
nursery rhymes?
All nursery rhymes are pretty
most of them
dark,
are pretty
actually.
dark. So, Josh, do you have your pie ready?
Believe it or not, this is not the first time I've been hit in the face with baked goods. So.
Really? We'll have to talk about that at some point.
Is that a fetish of yours, Josh?
Right, we should have
It turns me on.
before.
Hey everybody, welcome. AwayCast008, Infinity 1, whatever it's called. Greg,
Hello.
how are you? Thanks for joining me
good,
2 days after our last AwayCast.
Yes.
Josh,
What up, yo?
what's going on, dude? How you feeling today?
I am pretty pissed off.
Yeah. Oh, why are you pissed?
Why are you mad, Josh?
Never trust the International Business Times. That's all I have to say. Never trust them. Never again.
For anybody who's listening today who was not listening on Sunday, Josh made a little bet with John here that if they were not going to call the Xbox Infinity, he would take a pie in his face, and it was revealed today that it's going to be called the Xbox One. So at the end of this podcast, sit tight because Josh will be getting a pie in the face.
Yes, he will because he's a loser and he lost. So today's gonna be mostly all of it's gonna be about today's conference with Xbox, Microsoft revealing the fact that the One is Microsoft One.
The One.
Okay.
You feel like Morpheus should just be somewhere saying he is the one.
The One.
Well, I haven't seen anything with that yet. I haven't seen any Matrix things.
It's so far it's just everybody complaining. So let's
Yes?
What kind of pie do you have, Josh? Is it a surprise?
Okay, so to do an appropriate lead into this, I felt really bad because I got a blueberry crumble and I just literally stopped at Trader Joe's on my way home and they had nothing airy. I was hoping for like a key lime or lemon meringue pie and it was like apple, blueberry, cherry, or blueberry crumble. So I picked this pie up, bring it to the register, and the woman's like, "Oh, bringing pie home." And I was like, do I tell her I'm going to put this in my face? I don't think I'll say that. So then she starts talking about how good this pie is. She's like, "Oh, you're going to love this pie. It's amazing." And I just didn't have the heart to like tell her this pie was going in my face. Like, this pie wasn't going to get consumed. Well, it might get consumed. I don't know.
You should have told her
a little bit of it when it,
You should have told her to
eat
listen
around
to the
the
pod.
face.
Should have told her to listen to the podcast. Be like, you'll see
how
what
much we
happens to this
enjoy
pie.
it. And I guess I'll probably taste some of it when I get
We
shoved
have
in
a
my
whole podcast about pies. You're going to love it. You're going to love it. We talk about pies the whole time.
We're pie
As I was telling you
enthusiasts.
guys earlier, this is not the first time I've had baked goods shoved in my face.
Yeah, what does that
so.
mean?
I have had a cake shoved in my face.
Oh, okay.
My sister actually, for her last boyfriend, well, 2 boyfriends ago, she made this guy, Paul, a cake. She spent days making this pirate ship cake. It was beautiful. And she had a party for her boyfriend, Paul, at the house where she brought the cake out. And one of Paul's dirtbag friends that nobody knew, apparently he does this thing to all his friends called Chris puts a cake in your face. So my sister spent all this time making this cake. Paul didn't even get to see it. The cake came out, took the cake and went to throw it in his face, missed him, went all over the yard, cake all over that was, what an asshole.
That was at Anthony's house, right?
No, that was at my house.
Oh, was that your house?
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks.
What a dickhead. Anyway.
Especially because then you can't eat it.
Yeah, well, no one can eat it. And like,
Wasted
my sister
cake.
spent days making this fucking thing.
No cake is worse than a wasted cake.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll eat the remnants of this pie. I'm not picky.
You better. And you better get that on film, too. Eating off the floor. I want to see you licking off the carpet.
Josh,
I
as a
stand.
sign of good faith, I will purchase when you come here for Comic-Con. We'll go to Trader Joe's. We'll have a trip, and I'll get you blueberry pie. Crumble.
reinstate my pie.
I will
appreciate
reinstate
it.
your pie, just because I know you're down 1 pie after tonight. So
That's fair.
Well, he
That's
lost
fair.
a bet.
and some dignity.
Oh, yeah.
And so definitely the dignity.
Mostly dignity.
All right, so let's get into it. Xbox One. I watched some of it live. I had a little thing I had to do, so I caught the rest a little later. So that's it. It's not Infinity. It's not 720. It's not Durango. It's Xbox One.
Not to like hit on this too much, but as he was doing the lead-in, as he was talking about, I don't know if you guys saw it, but he was talking very much about how he's like, we want to integrate the Xbox with everything in your home. It's grown scattered, too many things in your living room. We want one single thing. And I was like, this does not sound like the lead up to Infinity. He's like, that's why we've called this Xbox One. And I was like, oh, fuck off.
You started getting nervous as soon as you're right, because they use the buzzwords or like the clue words in the beginning to lead you into right. So you started hearing like one entertainment to do it all, one thing. Definitely not. And he would have been like infinity possibilities.
Yeah, no, he would have said like, we wanted this console
and beyond gaming.
We wanted this console to last forever, to be the first and last console that you had to purchase.
Oh, so Xbox One. How do we feel about the name? I think it sits right with the way they introduced it and what they're trying to do with that whole One idea.
I think it works because honestly, the name doesn't really mean anything to me, but I kind of see what I think. This is what I think they're doing. I think they're planning a little bit better because it's kind of hard to name something after Xbox 360. You're kind of stuck going with these degrees of numbers, and it's kind of confusing. But if they just say, you know what, this is the new beginning for us. This is Xbox One. As they release more consoles and stuff, they can just do Xbox 2, Xbox 3. It's a lot less to think about, and it's just sort of like, you know, more figured out, more finalized.
If that's what they're planning to do, I agree with Greg. I think it makes it a lot easier for them. But I think console cycles are going to start lasting longer. I think we just went through a 7-year or 6-year, 05, so 7-year cycle. Yeah. And if we're going to have 10 years with this console now, I guarantee when it comes out, we're still just going to call it Xbox anyway. Hey man, you want to play Xbox? I'm not going to say, hey man. I mean,
that's how they just use the numbers to distinguish their,
right.
the generation.
Just for the people who are purchasing it, really, it's just so that your mom can remember the right name when she goes to her GameStop.
It's not like I come over and I'm like, all right, you guys want to play PS3 or do you guys want to play PS2?
So the name of the Xbox probably just strokes the ego of the marketing people. Really, it's like, look what we came up with. Check out this brand.
All that stuff's irrelevant. It really doesn't matter in the end.
Yeah,
absolutely. All right, I have a set of notes here we'll go through. The first thing that struck me, aside from this conference having the most buzzwords I've ever seen in anything.
Goddamn right.
Dude, it was incredible. Like, I was just counting them, and it got really annoying at a point. We'll get to that a little later on. One thing I'm excited about that I think is a really smart move by Microsoft is every single Xbox, at least from what they said, they haven't showed price or models that are going to be released, but they said that every single one comes with a new Kinect.
Not only that, they said that you need a Kinect to plug it in, or it needs to be plugged into your Xbox for your Xbox to work. If you don't have a Kinect plugged in, the Xbox won't work.
Right, but it comes with a Kinect. Like, you're not going to have
exactly.
Right, okay, so before you scare anybody else.
That's cool as long as they don't jack the price up now a ridiculous amount to cover their extra spending on that.
I'd be shocked if there's no next gen consoles with Nintendo alongside anymore, so I'd be shocked if PS4 or Xbox One has their higher end model go over $499.
That's what I'm thinking. If it's like $599 for the model, now,
that's a little much.
That's a little too much money, I think.
Once you hit that $5, it starts getting on. I'll start
thinking about buying a sick PC at that point.
Exactly.
I'm going to spend $600.
Yeah. Exactly. They have to keep the consumers interested with that type of price point. So I think anything that they include is going to have to be. In manufacturing, it's going to have to fit within a certain price range. So we also saw a new controller. They didn't say much about it. I saw some new buttons on that thing, where the start and back buttons, where there were some new symbol buttons, kind of look like the PS4 share button.
I'm sure they're going to have something to do with the media stuff, with all that integrated multimedia stuff, the screen kind of thing, searching it during game, probably stuff like that, some sort of menu system.
Right. I'm
going to assume. But I didn't, when I was trying to find more pictures of the controller, because I actually liked how it looked. I liked some of the close-ups, like the buttons looked nice, everything looked smooth. But the top of the button of the controller looked a little clunky to me, and I couldn't figure out why, like what was going on up there. If there was like a reason for all that, like where the Xbox logo sits on it now. But I couldn't find any more pictures of it.
I agree. I thought it was probably because the actual sticks that you hold onto, the grips, extended out diagonal a little bit longer. And just like I saw some pictures, I saw a guy's head next to it, and I couldn't tell if it was the angle of the picture, but it looked like a bigger controller than their current one.
I love their current controller, so that would probably bother me a little bit.
Yeah, and they should have learned their lesson with the first giant ass controller that came with the original Xbox. So you have to imagine they're not going to make anything too bulky. But that was just my initial impression. Was it was maybe just a little bit bulky.
As long as ergonomically it doesn't change. I mean, I don't think it's going to. Maybe the feel of it won't. If the controller juts out in any kind of way on the top or the sides where it's not going to affect how you hold it, that's fine. And if it doesn't affect the weight, I think it's fine. One thing that's a little strange, but not completely surprising, is that they're still sticking to the AA batteries in the back, which it just allows.
That sucks.
Yeah, but it just allows them to sell more shit. They're going to sell more battery pack.
Those controllers should it should come with a dock,
right?
And you should
no, absolutely.
Your controllers,
just like a PlayStation 3, right?
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Well, and I happen to have rechargeable AA's, and that's how I just cycle 4 rechargeable AA's through my controller. So it's not a huge deal, but you still would think that it'd just be nice not to have to think about that.
Right. Like I have a charge and play kit, but I always wanted, there's a certain charge kit where you kind of hang the controller kind of like on a hook on a wall or something like that, and it charges.
Well, they have mats for cell phones and stuff. You put your cell phone on it and you would think that'd be cool if they did something like if it's close to the Xbox, it'll wirelessly charge. Could
be a money thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, we skipped what the system actually looks like. What do we think about what the actual unit looks like?
It looks a little big, but I kind of like how it looks. I think it looks pretty sleek.
It looks classy. It looks like the hybrid, the one thing that they're trying to talk about. Yeah. It looks like your cable box / Blu-ray player / gaming system.
It looks like it reminds me of like a piece of gear that I would put in one of my recording racks.
Right.
I hope that I can rack mount this thing. That's what I'm wondering the specs on. It'd be great if I can just put it with all my stuff. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I was trying to think of how I would organize this once I have my shelf together.
There was a really great point brought up on Twitter that it's the first console. All my consoles already lay horizontal. But you could stand them up vertically if you wanted to. This is the first one that really looks like it must be horizontal.
My consoles always fuck up when I put them vertically. Like my Xbox, I tried doing it for a while because it is sitting vertically right now because everyone's like, oh, the fan and the heat and all that stuff. Not even that. Like the CD drive will have trouble opening sometimes. I have to lay it flat so the CD-ROM will open up and stuff like that. Yeah, I always just I try to leave them horizontal anyway.
Well, you also Sorry, Josh.
The ventilation looks like it for this new one looks like it should be laid flat for that reason.
It looks like a computer. You know, it almost looks like I can open this and there'll be bays in it where I can like upgrade stuff or like move things around if I was, it kind of just looks, because it looks big. It looks like there's like, you'll be able to access the hard drive through opening it possibly, or
They talked about the cloud a lot, so I'm a little worried about what these hard drive specs are going to be like, if you can interchange or what's going to happen there. So there wasn't much detail. The only detail they really let out spec wise was that it's going to be 8 gigs of RAM.
Well, there was I think it was 500 gigabyte hard drive. I don't want to get quoted on that, but that's what I remember.
I don't remember
reading.
It, but you might be right.
But yeah, I think you're very much right. I think there's a heavy rely on cloud saving, and that especially later on in the console life cycle, this console is supposed to stay current because the majority of your stuff will just get saved to cloud, and then that'll free up more internal memory to do different things with it.
Absolutely. I mean, later on, the Call of Duty is already talking about keeping that solid 60 FPS, and something that's huge, man, is the server capacity that they're talking about the upgrade. They're going from 15,000 servers to 300,000 servers. Which, I mean, I don't know if a lot of people really follow that. I mean, to my knowledge, it just means that like we can finally get PC grade servers where we can have 64 player servers on a console. Now that we're gonna have content being uploaded directly from my Xbox to my own server space in the cloud, or it just seems like there's a lot more real estate for us to have fun with games. I mean, server, man, be nice to have dedicated servers for every game we friggin' play, and have maybe, especially with these wide scale games like, mentioned Defiance again, or MAG, or games like that, where you can have huge scale battles. I mean, it'd be nice if Call of Duty could bring what's their cap right now? Like 10 on 10?
64?
No, Call of Duty.
I think you could have 12 people, 12 and 12, I think, so, something like that.
So but Call of Duty aside, it allows people to start experimenting with new game types.
I remember PlayStation when they had, what was that game? I think you were talking about it. MAG, yeah. I actually bought that and then returned it like almost right away.
Well, the whole appeal of that game was the fact that it was huge.
Well, that's why but it played horribly online. It played like shit.
It wasn't good.
It was lagging, and people were just like, it was just like pure absolute chaos. It just was not, it was a gimmick, and,
right.
I don't need to play it with that many people, honestly.
Right.
Depending on the game, I think having that option is cool, especially like with more MMOs coming to consoles.
Absolutely, that's what I'm saying. It allows a lot more options for these types of games. Go ahead, Josh.
As someone who is very much not a multiplayer gamer, that really didn't speak to me. However, like I think that we're talking right now specifically about the real strong points of this press conference was that the server, like talk about the servers, was really good. It seems like everything online is going to run a heck of a lot smoother. And it seems like the, graphical upgrades, just kind of what they're talking about, is going to be, well, not overly impressive. The logical evolution from the Xbox 360.
It's diminishing returns now. We're not going to see the jump from 2D to 3D like we did in our lifetime. We're not going to see those kind of jumps anymore. It's completely diminishing. We've seen, through actual rendered out Hollywood type computer graphics, we've seen what we're going to see. There's nothing mind blowing that it's going to make me vomit like I've never seen it before. You're right. It's the natural progression of things. So.
I'm waiting for more Oculus integration. That's going to change things for me, I think.
We'll probably see a lot more stuff when in E3. Yeah, in a couple weeks here. But so getting into the we talked about the physical actual box of it. And it's fine. I think it looks great.
I like it. I think it looks nice.
But it looks more like a multimedia piece. Like it just it looks.
It reminds me of like how my Bose unit looks. It's like a multimedia center.
Right. Yeah. It looks awesome. I think it looks great. And they're steering away from the green LEDs. It looks like, and going more towards white.
Yeah. When I think about this, the way that things went at this. At the conference, I feel like they're also starting to steer away from gaming, which I think is is interesting.
All right, sure. Everybody relax. Let's talk about the TV stuff first before we get into games.
That's what they did. So I guess we'll just do what they did.
Well, that's how my notes are set. It's set through how the conference is.
Yeah.
Well, and they talked about it. Not only did they talk about it first, they talked about it for 20 minutes. Like it was a huge part of that presentation.
I was telling John about this earlier. I don't mind. I think it's cool stuff. Like I think it's interesting, cool stuff. If you're watching TV and stuff, this is all like helpful stuff. It's not bad to have that stuff. But I think that the problem with it and why people are so upset by it is that the people who are watching this conference that actually care enough to turn this on right now are not the people who are going to buy this for that reason. It's the people who want to see games. It's your loyal Xbox customers who've been there forever, who are gamers, who want to see the next generation of gaming. And they should have kicked the show off with games, and then maybe...
go ahead.
And then maybe in the middle of it went into the multimedia aspect of it. Because this is the one thing everyone always complains about, whether it's E3 or it's these conferences, is that these companies are starting to harp too much on like social media and not gaming. And the thing is, and that's fine because that makes sense. These are businesses, and I get what they're doing. But the people who tune in to E3, the people who watch these conferences, are not those people. They're not they're not the people who are going to buy it for that reason. They're the people who want to know specs, who want to see the games, who want to see, the titles coming out, who get excited about that. You have to kind of know your demographic, because now what happens is everyone's complaining about this, but they're only complaining because those are only the people who watch it. Like, if people who were looking for an all-in-one media thing were watching this, they'd be like, this is great, this is perfect. But the people who watch this shit are the people who want games, and they kind of, they don't really think about that demographic, I think.
I definitely agree with you. I think that I went two ways about it. First off, they very much said, they try to get in front of this and be like, we're going to talk about games at E3. We're going to talk about games at E3. And I definitely give them the benefit of the doubt there. I just feel like, well, we'll get into the games a little bit later as we go through the conference. But the thing that really bothered me about the TV stuff is yes, that's going for a certain demographic. But when I really sat and thought about it, I was like, how applicable is this to my daily life? How often am I watching TV and I don't, when I want to surf the internet, I'll just pick up my phone and do it. And I don't think of it as a convenience. I think of it as a convenience. Or I don't think of it as an inconvenience. I think of it as a convenience.
Right.
I'm able to do that. At no point am I like, man, I really wish I could talk to my Xbox and it would just pull up whatever webpage I was thinking of. And I think that was really what bothered me too, is I was like, I've never, ever in my life been like, I really wish I could talk to my system. I feel like a keyboard or controller holds me back from being able to do what I want to do. I've never felt that way. And I feel like it was just so much emphasis on something that really in the end, I just never wanted. And I don't feel like it's Xbox's place or Microsoft's place to say, you want this, you just don't know it. Yeah. I just don't feel that way. And that's why I was really frustrated with it. And every time they said Xbox, turn on TV, game, Xbox, movie, Xbox, TV. And I just started laughing. I was like, are you kidding me? Yes, that's kind of cool that the technology exists, but you look ridiculous.
I mean, what they're doing is they just want this literally in every single house, and there's no excuse now not to get it. It's not like my son wants video games, I'm not buying him a gaming console. It's like, oh, but my cable runs through it too, and I can DVR my shows probably, and I can look this up and watch this movie in Netflix and choose my. Eventually, once this happens, it's gonna happen. But once the cable companies start to fall and it's choose your digital, choose your channels, I'm sure this is set up for that specifically. All that kind of stuff. Eventually, every single household is going to have this in it. They're looking beyond video games, which, like I said before, is fine.
Sure,
but I just feel like they didn't really. They knew what people wanted to see, and they said, "Fuck you." We're gonna talk about what's new. Hopefully, you guys like this, and then we'll talk about some games, and not really. We're gonna hit the jock demographic, and then move on.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, John.
I just wanted to chime in just because it's been a while. I agree with you guys most of the way there. But I also think that this kind of shit, going to these conferences and seeing E3 and seeing whatever today was, it was never for us. It became popular and people saw some advantages in making it able to be on a major television network or stream live or anything like that. But this has always been for media outlets and press to see this kind of stuff. And the only way that people, consumers, the household mom or the fantasy football playing jock is going to get that information is through the media who is at this conference. So I understand.
But the press is all giving it bad feedback too. The press wasn't satisfied with this.
Right, but they're also not telling people that they're bad. They're telling people that this is what they offer.
Right, but don't you want? I mean, if you're smart, wouldn't you want to impress the press?
Right,
and not just show them what it is. But because they know they have people working marketing for them in PR. They should know like what's going to get people excited and what's not.
Right, but you know who's going to give it bad press is Game Informer.
IGN,
Kotaku. Yeah. They're going to give it bad press, but you know who's not? The New York Times.
Yeah, USA Today.
They're all going to say, look at this crazy new gaming console that you can talk to your TV. And that's what they're going to be reading. And they're going to be saying, wow, this is coming soon. This is okay for me to buy.
And then my dad will buy an Xbox.
Absolutely.
I won't, but, I will. But.
And then Microsoft wins. Yeah. That's the thing. It's not... we're going to see our games eventually, and everybody, a lot of people complained about the games, the lack of games with the Wii U. I complain about that all the time regularly, but I think in Microsoft's case, they're going to actually show something. I'm hopeful. I mean, I agree with you guys most of the way there. I just have to play devil's advocate and say, like, they are a business. They're going to get your money if they have the games. They said that they're going to have 15 exclusive titles, which is more than the Wii announced or PlayStation even showed or announced. So, and 8 of them are brand new franchises that we've never seen before.
Yeah. Well, and I agree with... I'm sorry, go ahead.
It just seems like they covered themselves, like you said, Josh, they covered themselves a little bit. It sucks that didn't show games. Like, I totally agree with you guys. I would love to have seen right off the bat, like, a brand new Alan Wake or, like, something crazy that... or but they're...
Well, no, they showed Forza, and they showed...
Yeah, they showed the same bullshit.
And talked about some soccer, and then they showed Call of Duty.
Well, and here's the thing that still kind of gets me is that, yes, like, and I agree with you, Johnny, like, the whole idea behind this was, hey, we have the USA Today, we have the mainstream press here, let's show them how cool this is. But the thing that, like, I don't think anyone really stopped to question was, yes, that's cool what he's doing with the guide and, picking out his favorite shows in the DVR, but how does that actually talk to my cable provider, my satellite provider? Do I have to screw it in? Like, because if I don't screw the actual connection into the box, then it must be digital, it must be online, that, you through your cable provider, you can pick and choose. It's kind of something similar to what ESPN Watch does, where it just simply registers your cable provider, registers your account, and you can watch ESPN wherever. It would have to do that online unless you're directly connecting your cable or DirecTV or Dish, whatever, into the box. But that's still, like, because those are kind of serious concerns that have been completely, like, skipped over, I still am asking, how does this work? Does it do it?
I was thinking about that. Also, like, is there going to be a coaxial cable jack on the back of this thing? Which I feel like is such an outdated... It's not outdated, but it's on its way out. So, like, for them to put
it's an archaic type of thing.
To put that on this, like, brand new, beautiful system, it would seem kind of weird to me.
I'd almost feel a little dirty plugging a coax into a nice new gaming console, It feels
you would have to in order to... Like, unless you're doing it all online, which is a whole nother bag of worms we can talk about later.
Right. That's what I figured. I figured this must be like as long as your cable provider provides like digital cable, they can just run it through Ethernet.
Exactly.
Josh, to what you said about the technical stuff about hooking it up and things like that, I still what? What are you, my dad? You're making fun of the way I talk.
Sorry.
I'm sick.
All right, sorry. Go ahead.
So. I don't know if you notice, Microsoft does this more than anybody, and I hate it, and I hate it, and I hate it, and I hate it. So today when they showed the football bullshit,
the fantasy football,
well, not even fantasy football, but or
the
even
partnership with the NFL.
Well, that's fine. Or even in the beginning where they have this whole thing where they have celebrities come on and be like, Xbox, and the football one, they sit down with Don Matrick and the football dude.
Oh my god!
And they're like, oh, let's sit down. Let me tell you the new features. Like, that shit is there for not for fanfare. It's there for the people to be like, whoa, this is a production. Yeah. If the same thing happens when people see somebody talking to their TV, they go, oh my god, it's the future. They don't go, well, I wonder if the coaxial cable, like, that's us. That's the people who this is. The people who this is making it out to in a positive light. It's hitting them in all the right spots.
But it's not hitting them. Who the fuck is watching this besides the techies? Like,
no, but that's my point. Is that the media outlets that are getting information out to these people are hitting them in the right spots.
Right. Yeah, because the USA Today isn't going to report that they showed a connection to your TV, but they didn't explain how it works. The USA Today is going to report, hey, they said that you can just literally talk to your Xbox and it'll play whatever shows you want. They have a partnership with the NFL. More details to come.
I know.
To the layman, that just says, oh, they have Sunday Ticket. Oh, they can connect to my RCN, my Comcast. They're not sitting there thinking, how does it do that?
Exactly.
Which is what
right now, this is all about hype. There's no details out there. There are people, believe it or not, guys, there are people out there that open up their new gaming consoles and have to look at the directions on how to hook it up. Like, not everybody is not us. Like, I mean, the people that we know, the people that are in the games like it for a completely different reason than a lot of other people like it for. So I think from a marketing standpoint, Xbox accomplished what they had to market. A lot of gamers are unhappy because of the games, but we have to realize that like they are approaching this as a business, and the games are going to come. It sucks. It totally sucks that I didn't see more than 4 games and 1 new IP from Remedy.
No in-game footage,
and no gameplay.
Yeah.
That was super disappointing. There was no gameplay. Gameplay in-engine stuff, but nobody actually playing game. But you know what, man? Did I really want some guy standing on the stage fake playing it, showing me a picture-in-picture view?
They didn't have to do that. They could have still showed a video of in-game.
Yeah. You're right.
Especially with all that Call of Duty stuff at the end, they showed like a making of video.
The dog.
Talking to the director of traffic, or the writer.
I'm so sick of those videos, man. I'm so sick of that. Like
they're just stroking their fucking egos.
After watching the reveal for Destiny, for Bungie's Destiny, I'm just like, I can't believe how pretentious these people come off.
Yeah.
How much like we don't deserve their game, basically. Like they're doing this because for charity. like what's so that brings me back to what happened earlier with Don Matrick and sitting down with fantasy football, and it's just that stuff is not for us. And Greg is right in saying that like for all the people that like me were streaming it on my phone, and people that were sitting there at work like tuning in because they have a passion for gaming, unfortunately
minimizing it as your boss is coming by.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, this wasn't for us as much as we wanted it to be. There's enough out there for us to talk about. But the games, they said the games will come. Unfortunately, we've heard that before with Wii, but we know the story.
I don't think and I think that's fair. I think that no one can come out of this press conference saying this is Xbox sucks or Xbox is going to be awesome. All we can kind of come out and say is like, there's going to be a lot of crazy things with this machine.
Right. It's showing off its potential, and that's what happens in the beginning of. I mean, look how far we've come since the launch of 360. How far we've come, even inside the operating system of the.
I was saying to John, because when they showed today, they're like, we want to show you a side-by-side view of what Call of Duty 3 looked like compared to Ghost, and how our new what is it called, de-shading, or what was it called, that
I don't remember.
Yeah, their new way that they do the whatever it is. And honestly, I saw some screenshots online like a few weeks ago of like what next gen graphics are going to look like.
They doctor those probably.
Yeah, it didn't look that great. It looked like a decently put together PC graphics.
Well, high end PC. I mean, that's basically what we're getting.
Right.
Yeah, but it didn't even look high end when they were showing like the facial details.
Well, it's also Call of Duty is known for their frame rate and not their graphics.
Yeah.
Battlefield comes in more in the graphic department.
Yeah.
All right. So buzzwords, lots of buzzwords.
Are we going to talk about Spielberg and Halo?
That's a good segue. Spielberg and Halo. So, the chick from NBC comes out, right? It was NBC?
CBS.
Sorry, CBS.
Yeah.
The chick from CBS comes out and starts talking all these buzzwords, integration, new media. So I ignored all that, and then when she came out and said that they're hoping to do a series, gained my attention, and then the 343 studio lead came out, and she announced that Steven Spielberg will be directing a live-action Halo series.
Now, and I thought I lost it at this point, but is he directing or is he producing? Because there's a massive leap there.
Hold on. I don't know. I didn't write that down.
I'll look it up,
Greg.
You guys keep talking, because you're right. I thought he said directing. He seemed very involved and into it, but that could be, he was talking about how he's a gamer, and whenever he talks about he's a gamer, he always says that about Pong. Every time they show him, like I was watching an interview for him when they did Tintin. Was that the movie?
Yeah.
And he was talking about the Tintin game when it was coming out. He's like, I've been a gamer for many years. I played Pong.
It's like scripted, like that's what you say.
Yeah.
I always picture, did you guys ever see the YouTube video of Harrison Ford playing Uncharted?
No.
And like they bring Uncharted over to Harrison Ford, and he's like literally like he can't even get his index and middle finger.
Hold on, I like you say they bring Uncharted over to him.
Yeah.
Because he can't walk over there.
Yeah. he can't even get his index and middle finger onto the R1 and R2 buttons. He's just holding it, like he's playing with a Sega controller.
Oh, no.
And you can very much tell they're taking it away from him, beating certain things for him, and handing it back to him. And the entire time, like he's just like, "This is amazing. This is
everything I'm reading.
Such a joke.
Everything I'm reading says direct. So,
Direct.
Yeah.
Okay, well, good.
Which is that's pretty epic. I mean,
yeah.
It could be really, really good.
That contract's got to be insane.
Oh,
yeah, man.
Oh yeah, that's
wow.
massive.
I didn't even think of that. But it's Spielberg. I mean, I don't know. I just think immediately Band of Brothers when I think of.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
It's gonna be
good.
Yeah. Well, did you guys see Forward Unto Dawn?
Yeah, I thought Forward Unto Dawn was good, but it lacked the budget that it needed to really succeed.
I actually watched it recently because it's on Netflix now, and honestly, the whole time I was watching it, I just kept thinking low budget sci-fi show, and I really was having a hard time getting into it.
Well, it was actually, like I said, it was good except for the budget.
I didn't like the acting. The kids' acting was fucking garbage.
Hey, you stay away from Anna Popplewell. I'm gonna marry that girl.
She's pretty cute.
But yeah, it was just one of those things where I kind of had this feeling when they first got Nancy Tellem, the NBC executive, on, that they were thinking of producing new content, because they got her on right when Forward Unto Dawn was really starting to get all those YouTube hits. And when they were like announcing they were going to put it out on Blu-ray and how much money they thought it was going to make. And I was like, this smells like Xbox wants their own TV channel.
Right.
And between that and the Remedy game, it sounds like they have two series right there.
Is this Halo? Is it going to be on television?
You mean like on network TV?
Exclusive to them. I think it's exclusive. I think you can only watch it through an Xbox.
Yeah, because she was talking about other big TV series. She was like Breaking Bad.
Well, who knows? Who knows what television even means at this point? I mean, is it going to be with the integration that they're pressing forward with?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm just, because when I think of that, obviously all I know from my experience is like going to the dashboard and download and streaming something. But this can be completely different. This can feel way more like TV than we're used to. What was it? Xbox Entertainment Studios is what they dubbed it.
Is that what they put it under?
That's the big graphic that was behind her when she was giving her speech.
Okay. And I feel like that's their own production company. I wouldn't be surprised if there are more of these things in the works aside from the Remedy game and the Remedy game / TV series in this.
So Remedy, they came out. They had a really nice introduction for Remedy, talking about Max Payne and all those things that they bring to the table. So they announced this new game called Quantum Break. They didn't really show anything except for the fact that the acting or the cutscene or whatever it was live action, and then they have this really ominous little girl say like she's gonna show this woman's. What does the woman say? She's like,
I hated that so much.
Yeah, I didn't like it either.
This cutscene of a girl, she's like, you want to see what I can do?
Yeah.
And, touches her neck, and the mom's like, and then there's like a boat crashing into a bridge. Like, we have graphics,
which
in
looked
this game.
really good though.
Yeah, but fuck, what was the context of that? I had no idea what the fuck was happening.
It was ridiculous. It feels like we're at the point where that shit is campy, where like the kid with the power.
I also don't like to see that mix. Right. That, like live action to graphics. If you're going to do like a live action thing to promote your game, just do the whole thing like a movie, and then,
have a separate game.
Well, I think the promotion that they're going for, and I might be wrong here, I think is the same as Defiance, where there's a TV show and a game, and they run separate but still tie into each other.
See, I think it works for Defiance in a way.
But the shows are different then. So like the main show is about like a little girl and her mom, and the game is just about boats
crashing.
Going to bridges.
Yeah, so what it is.
Boat crasher.
Yeah. You captain a ferry that goes from New Jersey to New York.
It's just you desperately trying to avoid a bridge you can never get out of the way of.
It's the same bridge, but your boat is always way too tall.
And there was one screenshot of a guy like pensively looking at a statue. So that's what it is. You try to avoid the bridge and then you go and stare at a statue for 5 minutes.
With Connect can tell if you're staring at the statue.
It can tell if you're staring at
the first Connect game is going to be Statue, and you just literally just stare at it.
Statue stare.
I hope you can play the game with Connect voice and just say, Xbox, avoid bridge. Xbox, avoid bridge.
Xbox, stare statue.
But yeah, it looks okay.
I mean, the graphics looked fine. I don't know what to take from it, honestly.
Looked pretty good.
Graphics
and I will
fine.
say,
It was
I'm
very
a huge
it was
Remedy
confusing.
fan.
I was confused by that.
Yeah, Remedy's great.
Yeah, I mean, I love the first 2 Max Paynes. They do the first 2, or they just do the first 1? I think they did 2.
They did something I played recently. What was their?
And they did Alan Wake.
Alan Wake. Yeah, I played American Nightmare recently. That's why I remember the logo.
Oh, okay. And that's what I was hoping it was going to be Alan Wake 2, but I imagine that is coming. There's no way that's not coming.
Yeah. Well, Alan Wake, was it successful?
Really?
Was it? No, was it? I'm asking.
Oh,
Alan
I think
Wake?
it was moderately successful.
Moderately, probably. I don't think it was. It's not considered a AAA game.
I know there's a following for it.
Yeah, I like Alan Wake.
Yeah.
I think it probably did like those, those first party infamous Resistance numbers, where it's decent for a first party game.
Remedy did Max Payne 2, Alan Wake, Alan Wake's American Nightmare, Quantum Break, Death Rally. I don't know what that is. Oh, it's an older game they remade of their own.
Well, those are all. I mean, aside from Death Rally or whatever, I mean, it's a small list. It's a small list, but it's solid.
Mm-hmm. So I trust them, whatever it is.
But they did say, Microsoft did say that 15 new exclusives. 15 exclusives, 8
new IPs.
Which is exciting, and if we hold them to that, then it should be good.
The new IPs: NHL Fighter Series, NFL
Bridge Avoider,
Blitz.
Well, we have 2. There's
Lacrosse,
a report. I'm on Twitter right now, and one of the ones is going to be a historic IP from Rare. So that's either Perfect Dark or Bond.
I'd say Perfect Dark.
It's probably going to be Perfect.
Yeah, probably
Perfect Dark. Yeah.
And then
awesome.
the other one is a Black Tusk or something is going to do the next Halo, which I thought was ridiculous because we currently have Halo.
Right.
Why do we need the next Halo?
Stop making Halo games.
See, somebody made that same comment about Call of Duty, Greg, but they sell. You can't let them go.
Stop.
You can't.
Them, man.
Somebody wrote on. It bothered me. Somebody wrote on Twitter or one of those stupid. I saw some comment and he said, "quote Can they let COD die already?" End quote. It's like you can't let something die that's the most successful franchise in entertainment. Almost you can't.
Yeah.
And Halo's close. People will constantly get it, whether we like it or not. Stop playing it if you don't want to play it, but Call of Duty will always be a game.
Yeah.
But this was more like they were saying
Greg
they're going to be the spiritual successor to Halo, and that's what was annoying.
What worries me is that Halo is going to be like Star Wars, and it's going to get spread so thin that people aren't going to care anymore, and it's just going to be this thing that looms, and it's going to be a culture that's
already a multiplayer game.
What do you mean?
I feel like it's not really about the camp. It's starting to become not about the campaign anymore.
Right, yeah, because Halo 4's campaign was pretty...
They're getting weaker as they go, and eventually it's going to be like Call of Duty where people buy the game,
right,
and they don't even play the campaign.
Right. A lot of people do that already.
Yeah.
But maybe eventually, just like a lot of other companies or games IPs are doing, they reinvent themselves with some other... I was hoping 343 would do that from Bungie, but...
yeah.
Before we get too much into Halo...
Yeah, what else do we got at the conference?
So I guess for people that are really into their fantasy stuff and into sports, which is especially in Europe, FIFA's like the top selling sports game, and they're going to get exclusive content for that. And I'm not huge into sports games, but I know there are tons of people that are. So I guess that was kind of, yeah, that was kind of. What do you play?
I play them all, and I play Madden. I dig NHL a little bit. NBA 2K is pretty awesome. You guys know I play the show a lot.
So, what did from your perspective? What did you? Aside from however vague or what kind of buzzwords they use, what did you take from it that was positive?
Not a ton. Just because the biggest problem I had with this whole thing is, and especially here, is that if they're going to talk about the future of sports games, why not bring on the developers? Why not bring on EA developers to talk about what the future of these franchises are? I don't care what RG3 has to say about the next Madden, because RG3 is not making the next Madden.
Well, don't you realize that when they're showing these videos, all they have is people clicking mouses and showing robust views of 3D polygons within their developing programs? They're showing all the buzz stuff, man. They're not going to talk to you about systems and just because of my point before, they're not going to talk about that stuff. They're going to wow you with visuals.
Well, and they're going to, unlike what I really felt like these athletes were here, like Messi and the USC guy, where the fuck he was. But the reason why they were there is because they're recognizable. So the print media can say RG3 says that he looks for the cornerback. So you can look for the next cornerback in Madden. Right. And that stuff, and to be honest, when they started showing that footage at the end, it was super unimpressive. It looked like reskinned and like a little high res, but the biggest problem with those motions is no longer the graphics, it's the way these players move. They move really mechanically. They don't look like they're actually have any sort of motion. And then when they showed RG3, he looked like he maybe had only 4 flex points in his entire body. And I was like, this does not look that impressive. I don't know what you're pitching me here. And then they start the day-to-day player integration is kind of cool, where the players will continue to evolve through them streaming directly to your Xbox. Kind of cool. I don't play a lot of that pick up and go mode. I do a lot of franchises, road to the show type of stuff. And so basically all the features they're showing, I'm like, I guess that's cool, but it's not really stuff that I do. Maybe it's for someone, but it's not me.
I played fantasy hockey a little bit. I played for 1 year, and I think it's for someone who plays fantasy sports, I think that's really cool that you can have your stats just pop up on screen like that rather than sit there and have to keep refreshing pages and
that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I thought it was really neat, but it's for a very specific audience. I understand that, but it's really cool. I think it's definitely a cool tool for a lot of people that are going to use it, and it makes it really easy to use from what it seems.
Getting into that and to their partnership with the NFL and how that, because that was where they showed Eli Manning throwing the touchdown, your fantasy stats update in real time. I actually feel like there is a significant market for that, but once again, how are they showing all of that happening? What app is running that? Because it can't be Sunday Ticket. Well, it could be Sunday Ticket, but it'd have to be a very difficultly negotiated contract because PlayStation still has a contract with DirecTV to show Sunday Ticket.
Well, this season I was going to get the NHL on the go or whatever it's called, or the whatever centerized package. I don't know. I forgot what it's called, but it's additional cost. So I'm wondering if this app obviously is going to cost some kind of money. They're not saying that, you can just update your stats live. How much does it cost? They hid a lot of that stuff obviously because it wasn't necessary, but we don't really know. So
sorry, we can move on from boring sports talk.
I'm just reading something right now about how Xbox they're finagling the PR a little bit by saying that it's not always an always online system. It doesn't require always online, but what they're doing is it does require the internet to be connected to it, because it will have to connect to the internet once a day to retrieve data.
That makes sense.
I'm reading more about it right now, but it says that if you're going to play a single player game, you don't have to be online.
Right. And that's a huge deal.
Yeah, but then again, I don't know if that's just that they're saying that, but then certain games are going to start to come out and be developed for always online. They could do that, like SimCity. That people might just develop games for that, and you just have to know before you buy the game, obviously. But it's saying here that it's not an always online game console, but it will have to be connected to the internet in order for it to work properly.
Update. That's kind of how it is now, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, let me read
They also
more.
talked about, they were waffling a little bit on the used game conversation, because what they're saying to the press after the conference was that you would you would install the game once you purchase it to your computer, and it would just be like a PC where you install the game and you can't reinstall it somewhere else. You can't give it to a friend or anything like that, except that a friend can take it and install it in their Xbox, but they would have to pay an activation fee, and then you would lose your right to the game.
See, it sounded all fine and dandy until you lose your right to the game.
Yeah, I mean, you basically the game can only belong to one person, and even if you do buy something used, you're gonna have to pay an activation fee on top of whatever you pay for.
But you know what,
at
man?
GameStop.
What do you expect? What do you expect at that point? You can't. That's expected. I don't know.
I buy all my games new, So it really doesn't bug me one way or the other.
Right.
So.
I'll get my games used once in a while.
Oh, hold on a second. Sorry. It says here that even with single player games, no matter what, the console needs to be connected to the internet. But
once a day, right?
Right. Well, it has to be connected. And what happens is it'll check. You have 24 hours, and it'll check it every 24 hours. So if you're playing a single player game and you're someplace without internet connection, after 24 hours, you won't be able to use the console.
I don't know. What's the source?
Kotaku.
Yeah, be careful.
So it's a pretty big website, isn't it?
Yeah, Kotaku's big, but they're known to embellish a bit. But we'll see. I'm waiting for any.
They're asking. They're talking to who's this Harrison guy? Hold on a second. You guys keep talking. I'll find out who this guy is.
Bill Harrison or whatever?
Yes, actually.
Yeah. And that's kind of what I've been hearing is that it will need to check in with the internet occasionally. It doesn't need to be always online, but it does need to touch base with the internet. It sounds like once every 24 hours, which would be pretty standard. It's not asking all that much on the whole. You know, even if you have a 56K, as long as you make sure it's plugged in, you could even just plug it in before you go to bed.
But
what if you don't have money for internet?
Well, being that we don't know if this is true or not, let's go over both. So say it does have to.
If Bill Harrison is saying it, then.
But there's no details.
I mean, he says right here. He goes. Kotaku asks him. They go, if I'm playing a single player game, do I have to be online at least once per hour or something like that, or can I go weeks and weeks? And Harrison says, I believe it's 24 hours. And then Kotaku goes, I'd have to connect online once every day. And Harrison goes, correct.
Have to connect once a day in order to what?
For the system to work, I guess, which is strange.
See, that's why I don't know if it has to be connected.
It's fair to like kind of play both sides of this because we don't know hardcore what it is. Like even Xbox, which is really what's strange about this, is even the Xbox team seems to be a little unsure of how this is going to work.
Right. So let's say it does require it to be always online or check in.
I think it has to do with their cloud net. It has something to do with the cloud.
Yeah.
Right.
And those games constantly updating and whatnot.
Maybe there's no hard drive in this console, and it's all going to be. Well, maybe it's minuscule. You know, maybe it's not 500 gigs. Maybe it's like 5 gigs. And
even 500 gigs isn't that much.
But they're talking about installing games. You have to have.
Oh, yeah.
So let's say it does require always online, right? Or it has to check in or whatever. Big mistake. Big mistake, I think, at least. Because people that are going to buy this system that live places where there are still no internet to 56K internet, it's still a large amount, right? I mean,
yeah. Well, let me say, Johnny. First off, I totally agree with you, 100%. I'm only going over here to play devil's advocate. It's the only reason I'm hopping over here.
I love it.
I never do that. Does anyone know? You guys do that all the time. I never.
Greg,
do
you want me to feed 2 lines and you can play devil's advocate?
I mean, I don't like to do that. I'm pretty
one-sided, Greg.
Not one-sided. I'm just the right side. My side.
Always.
To play devil's advocate, to don my devil's advocate hat, I'm putting on horns right now. The only if you're seeing this stuff and you're watching it connect to TV, that's why you're buying it. You're buying it for the NFL partnership. You're seeing how it can interact with your sports games, and if that's why you're purchasing the Xbox, you should have some understanding that it's going to require some sort of internet connection. I
agree with you. And if not, it's going to promote. I mean, say Joe Schmo, who doesn't have internet or has poor internet, is in who knows where. He starts getting frustrated with this because he wants his NFL Xbox to work, and he starts getting in touch with his provider in that area, and multiple people start doing that. Maybe it'll promote change in that area, and they'll maybe introduce it.
Possibly, especially if this subscription model of the Xbox is true, where it's you pay $2.99 and then $15 a month for Xbox Gold. Because then you have it for 2 years, no matter what. You can't take it back and return it.
Right.
You know, you need to find a way to make it work. And I actually think that the people who this will really affect is not the 25-year-old in Wyoming or the 32-year-old in Omaha. I think the people it's really going to affect is that 14-year-old who has convinced himself that we have internet, we could get it to work, convinces mom to go buy it. Mom doesn't know the difference between always on, DRM. That doesn't mean anything to her. She buys it, brings it home. Kid, is like, well, fuck, now what?
Exactly.
So
they're also saying that it's going to be a big problem for a lot of students and people on military bases.
Right, because restricted internet access.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's a big mistake if they keep this always online. And I think even the industry now is shifting towards this huge. They have this ambition with always online. They always have this always online thing. Games are coming out always online, and people just don't seem to understand, or they're not in touch with the fact that a lot of people are still, the internet technology wise is still way behind where our ambition for it is.
Yeah.
And until it catches up, there's still going to be so much controversy about always on, you know?
So coming into this, I was a little like, after I watched the press conference, I am a PlayStation person first. Not that I dislike Xbox in any way. I think they do a lot of things better in PlayStation, but that's just generally where I tend to play my games. And so I was sitting there watching it, and I was like, I come away from this feeling very blah. Like, obviously, things can get better, things can get worse, what have you. But I was just unimpressed. And like, kind of just going back through our conversation, what have we talked about? We've talked about all these things that, you know, we haven't hit something yet where I'm like, yes, this is exciting. This is what I was looking for. Like, even in these features in any shape or form, the features don't particularly grab me. And so I want you guys to, like, am I wrong in how I feel about this?
No, it felt more like, it felt like a CES conference. It felt like an electronics. It felt very general. It did not feel about gaming for me, you know, and that's fine. That's what it is, and because that's what we get excited about. They tried to touch on it a little bit, and they did, and it looked great, sort of. And I guess, I mean, like John was saying in this to me before, really, this is just an unveiling. It's a revealing of the console. Mm-hmm. It's very general of what it can do. You know, we're 2.5 weeks away from the real thing, you know, from E3, where they have to show lots of games. They're going to show in-game footage. You know, they're going to talk about these titles, and that's what we want to see. And hopefully they won't fuck that up. You know, they won't turn it into, you know, a pop thing, you know, a big concert.
Yeah, Usher didn't show up, so that's a +1.
Yeah,
that's true.
Well, no, that means they're saving him for E3 now.
Could be saving him.
Because you know they're gonna
box.
the new Kinect. There's gonna be a Just Dance game, so you're gonna get that. We are all gonna be laughing when we're doing this, and Usher comes out for the new Just Dance game, or man. Will I Am, or some shit. So
let's have a good laugh, though.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. So.
And the 15 exclusive games, 8 new IPs does excite me. I do think that that's an impressive number.
Yeah,
they have to. The fact that they said that means that's it. They have to have at least that many, because if they don't, someone's going to be pissed, including me.
I mean, so next year, I mean, we can expect definitely at least a new game every month for the most part. Well, we'll probably get a bunch of them around Christmas.
They said within the first year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I mean. You know, and hopefully they have some good launch games and they talk about them as well.
But I think your feelings are pretty accurate, Josh. It should feel kind of blah. I have friends and people that I know that are really excited and pumped about this. I think we're a little jaded.
That's good.
I think we're a little jaded by the fact
we're
that...
jaded.
Well, it's true. So when you watch all these conferences through the years, every year we watch E3. Every year we go to events. Every year we do all these things. And eventually it goes, oh, there's only so many ways, so many different formulas you can present this kind of material. And with the fact that there's diminishing returns as well, it kind of, you know, nothing blew my mind, and I still don't know why I go into these conferences assuming that something will.
Yeah, when was the last time something blew your mind in a conference?
Nothing. Even something as crazy as the Oculus that's going to change gaming, hopefully. It's
maybe though. That's the thing is, I feel like, I guess I don't get too optimistic about that, because I know if I put that on and get nauseous within the first 5 minutes, I'm going to feel like I was so excited for this,
right? And
it's just not working for me. It's Virtual Boy all over again.
But see, even like growing up and thinking about your health when you pick up this thing.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that you're old. I'm just saying, like, these are the things you think about when you get jaded. It's like you start thinking about the problems before your imagination gets away with you.
Yeah.
And that holds true with any kind of, even CES, even all these conferences. Like, that's cool, but wait a second. That's cool, but wait a second. It's never like, oh my God. Like, they figured out how to teleport.
After every...
I think teleportation is the next time we're going to be like, oh, wow.
I feel like after every one of these, every time we do a conference, like when we watch together and talk about it, it's pretty much, we're always let down. You know, we try to find the good, but we're always kind of like, I think we're always looking for that feeling of like being a little kid and being like, yo, did you hear about this thing, Nintendo 64?
What?
Look at the difference 3D? From Super Nintendo. Like, look at the difference. And we're just not, we're just so used to this by now. It's just,
it's all about being jaded.
I think I also have the thing where whenever I instantly watch something, whether it's a game reveal, a system reveal, whatever it is, I always try to say
cautiously optimistic.
Cautiously optimistic, but also just like in the middle of the road, objective. I always try to say super objective and not get too swayed one way or the other. And then kind of through these podcasts or talking to people, I kind of begin to realize what my feelings really are. And like me and Johnny did a PlayStation podcast right after the PlayStation conference. And the more we talked about it, the more I was like, yeah, I'm kind of into this. And then like the more we're talking about the Xbox One, the more I'm like, oh, maybe not. Like, and that's not decided at all. And
get
even
PlayStation's
that,
balls out of your mouth, Josh.
Yeah, right.
Watch the fanboyness. See, this is something that bugs me about not you specifically, Josh, but after coming out of this conference, just all the negative feedback I saw just immediately exploded onto the internet. Just like all the hatred that came out. Even after Sony, all the Microsoft people, all the hatred that came out, and after Microsoft, all the Sony hatred that comes out. It's so unbelievable to me how people can feel so entitled, like they deserve this next generation of gaming. It's one thing to be a critic, and it's one thing to speculate and talk about your opinions and what you think, but it's another thing to just like bash without information. And it immediately on Facebook and on Twitter, I saw like, Sony's stocks just went up. Like, you're an idiot, dude.
Which had nothing to do with that conference, by the way.
Right.
It was reported through Bloomberg that they had absolutely nothing to do with that conference. But anyways, go on.
Of course, because you're informed. But the problem is someone sees that on Facebook and goes, oh, well, looks like Microsoft's going to have a problem. And it's just, people just stay within this ecosystem of just misinformation, and they just constantly feed it back and forth to each other, and no one can stop and be like, dude, we're about to get some shit where you talk to your TV and on PlayStation you could record what you're playing. Like, do you remember when we were playing Super Mario 3 and just being in an absolute awe and just loving the game? People just have to take it down a step and really take it back a step, rather, and like rethink how amazing. Like Louis C.K. says, like, everything's amazing and everyone's fucking miserable. People have to ground themselves, and if they want to critique something or talk about why they think something is not as good, let's talk about it, The
real truth of the matter is that the console conflict, I hate saying console war, it's so fucking stupid, but the competition between Microsoft and Sony won't be decided at launch. It won't be decided a year after launch. It will be decided years and years and years afterwards between, it's basically like, a team gets up 14 points in the first quarter of football, not to drop too much sports into this, but that doesn't mean the game's over. It just means that, more is yet to happen. One team might have to do more to try and gain that back, but it doesn't mean it's over. This will go on for years and years. And so people getting too wrapped up in the announcement, the first announcement of the Xbox One is ridiculous.
It just bothers me that we can't all just get along. I can't believe fanboyism still is a thing. I mean, I play Xbox. Most of my games are played on Xbox. I'll say that without a doubt. But if Xbox fucks up, I don't mind saying they fucked up. If PlayStation does right, I don't mind saying. I have plenty of PlayStation games, and I have a Vita, and it just.
My PS3 is a Blu-ray player.
I'll tell you one thing: it's going to be really hard to do those Xbox commands with PlayStation's balls in my mouth. So,
or a pie in your face. So
is that where we're at?
I guess. Do we have anything else?
No,
it's pretty long for a quick for midweek one. We should probably
for a special Microsoft thing. So Josh, you lost the bet.
Yeah.
What do you want to do? How do we want to do this?
Well, I'm gonna have to go get my roommate to do this, to put this in my face. So you're gonna have to hold for 1 second.
Should you want to like? Have a separate.
Go ahead, man. Go get your roommate. We're gonna record it on here, and then we're gonna put a little link.
All right, here we go.
You're gonna record the video also, right?
Yeah, I'll record video as well.
Perfect.
There better be a video, Josh.
And while you do that, me and John will talk about pies again.
Okay, hold tight.
So Josh said he has a blueberry crumble.
Yeah, and I think that it's probably a pretty dense pie.
Probably dense. If it's a blueberry crumble, it's got kind of that
That thick syrupy
buttery,
blueberry,
but like a butter,
a
butter
crust,
mix,
butter syrupy. It's gonna the pie. I'm assuming is probably weighing in between 6 and 8 pounds. Is that too much?
That's way too much.
No
dude.
way, man. Think about a pie, man.
8-pound pie? He got it from a retail store.
It doesn't seem like a lot to me. 8 pounds. Is that a lot?
Dude, it's a lot. It's a lot. 8 pounds of pie is a lot of pie.
All right, that's 4 pounds.
No, I think like a pound.
No way, man. Think about a quarter pounder.
That's a quarter of a pound.
Yeah, but think about a fucking pie.
Think about 4 of the quarter pounders.
With the blueberries and syrup and
with
all
the
that
tin,
stuff.
With the tin, because
with the tin. The tin's like the lightest thing in there.
It's probably going to be one of those like Entenmann style in a...
Look, no, that thing is... He's got a 4-pound pie, okay?
4-pound pie?
He's got a 4-pound pie.
When he comes back, let's have him weigh the pie. You think he can weigh the pie for him?
Hopefully he's got a scale.
4-pound pie.
I think I'm going to say 4 pounds. Listen. I'm going to say this: the pie's between 3 and 4 pounds. Okay, and if I'm wrong,
you started at 6.
I'm changing my mind. I'm going to say the pie is between 3 and 4 pounds. If it's less than that, I'll take a pie in the face.
Yeah, but then now I'm doubling down and I have to take a pie.
All right, here we go.
Wait, Josh, hold on a second. How much does that pie weigh if you had to estimate by picking it up?
I don't know, Ashley. How much do you think that pie weighs? Like, maybe 2 pounds. Maybe 2 pounds.
Maybe 3 pounds.
Yeah, start recording.
Maybe 2 pounds.
All right.
All right. Are we gonna do this?
Let's do this.
Yeah.
All right,
Don't
everybody.
do it too hard because it really could hurt me.
Okay, everybody. This is Josh. Josh lost a bet, and now he's getting to John.
No, I'm not going to take him off. Just put it in because we got to record the audio into the podcast.
Sounds like he's getting nervous.
And now he's getting a pie in the face.
Unfortunately, there's not a lot of goop that's on me. It's just my here. Take a picture. Show my face indent into the pie. I don't think I can eat this, guys. I don't think I'm gonna be able.
You have to eat it. Don't waste it. That woman's gonna be pissed.
That sounded so. I wish I was there.
It sounded like a punch. Like
it's really. Yeah. You sounded. You sound like your adrenaline
Hopefully
got going.
I can cut my audio out during I was talking as the pie hit him.
People always get really excited when they have to put a pie in someone's face. Like it's in that moment of actual pull the trigger, but they just can't help themselves.
Oh man, Josh,
is there a mess everywhere? You got a mess?
Josh, no, actually, everything stayed really with the pie.
Oh, good.
She just, you can just literally see my nose indent into the pie.
So there's no mess. The pie won.
Yeah, no, well, I think my face won. I think that,
Is there a mess or no?
No, there's no mess.
We gotta redo it.
What the fuck?
We gotta redo this.
It sounded awesome, and now I feel gypped.
I'm gonna get a video where a pie comes
at
you and it's gonna bounce off your face. Is what I feel like I'm gonna get. Is that what we're getting?
Was there a pie bounce?
Is there any blue on your face?
No, there's no blue on my face.
This is
No, you're not going to get me to do this again. I guaranteed one pie to the face.
Right,
I didn't guarantee goop on it.
So is this video going to just look like Josh getting in the head with a piece of bread?
I think that literally, the zenith of the video will be the pie going into my face. I don't think you'll enjoy the afterwards too much, but
all right,
we'll cut it
putting
there.
it into my face is good.
Then we'll play the whole thing.
Okay, at least she hit you with some brute force. Yeah. She hit you good. What was her name? What was her name?
Ashley.
Ashley, thank you so much for doing the deed.
Good job,
we appreciate it. We heard
they're telling you did a good job.
We heard Josh just kind of squeal a little when he got. Oh no! I lost a bet. I love PlayStation. All right. That was the blueberry part that didn't stick. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on this special 008 AwayCast. Greg, thank you so much.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Josh. Yeah.
Josh and Josh's friend who did the pie. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you. I'm watching the video right now. That's why I didn't answer you at first. But yes, always real.
We'll have deuces. We'll have that video posted on our YouTube channel, AwayCast.com. Follow us on Twitter, the AwayCast. Talk to you guys soon.